tell us why social media is important for your business.
Well, if there's anything that we've learned, especially with the help of a pandemic, it's that being online and using social media for your business is no longer like a luxury or an option. It's something that you have to have as a business. That's where your customers are. That's where they're connecting with other brands. That's where they're going to get their influences from. That's where they're going to learn about products and services. If you're not on a social media platform or any form of online platforms, you're missing not just a younger demographic, but an entire demographic of people who are 18 to even 55 on social media.
Yeah, 65, 75. And I think that goes to anytime I'm talking to my clients about their marketing in general, I'm telling them, where are your clients hanging out? Where are they? And to your point, during a pandemic, they are all online because that's the only place anybody's been able to go. But even outside of that, my grandmother is in her 80s and she's on Facebook, and she treats her Facebook news feed like it's her inbox. She checks every single thing. So the easy answer, it sounds like, it's because that's where our customers are hanging out. So we want to be in front of them.
That's where your customers are hanging out. That's where they're getting their news from. That's where they're going to get their reviews from. It's really a hub of potential clientele that they live there and they're actually expecting brands to meet them there.
I love the way you say that. You know, you need to show up and meet them. It's almost like a physical thing. And then when it comes to which platforms, you know, we all have our favorites. For me personally, Instagram is my favorite, but that's, you know, it's my favorite for my purpose. So what types of businesses should maybe lean towards different platforms? You know, if you're choosing from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and I kind of
listed all of them.
Rank them in a way.
That's a really good question, and that's actually a very common question most business owners have for me or other digital marketers. I would start by saying you don't need to be on all of the social media platforms.
Oh, I forgot Twitter. So yeah.
And Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Exactly. You don't need to be on all of the social media platforms. That's spreading yourself too thin for no reason at all. What you do need to be on is at least a minimum of 2 to 3 social media platforms that your customer, your ideal target audience, is spending all of their time on. We check our phones every day. We have as you said, Instagram is your go-to social media platform. For me, it's also Instagram and Pinterest. So depending on the nature of your business, whether you are selling to other businesses or you're selling to customers, you have to pick at least 2 to 3 platforms where your customers are actually active, where they're actually posting, and where they expect you to meet them.
And I think that's an important thing that you just mentioned, is where they are, where they expect you to meet them. I think sometimes we can have our favorite that we kind of get this allegiance to and say, oh, well, I don't like such and such platform anywhere. And the short answer might be, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You don't have to spend all of your spare time on it. But if you know that your customers are spending all of their time on it, your brand needs to be there, correct?
Agreed. It's not about what you want or where you want to be. It's about where your customers want to be. If you love Twitter and you're always on Twitter, but your customers are on Facebook, then you're pretty much just shouting to an empty void, while you have Twitter that's crowded with every single person who's willing to buy from you. They're just on the wayside waiting for you to join them. So it's not about your favorite platform, it's about their favorite platform.
Right. It's not an entertainment source for you. You're showing up at your customer's entertainment source.
Exactly.
And I know all of the platforms are going to be different, so you don't have to go through all of them, but just in general, when somebody, you know, says, okay, I realize my customers are on Pinterest, for example, or whatever it is, Instagram, but now I showed up, I'm here. How do you get followers? How do you get people looking at your social media on those platforms?
Okay, so without getting a little bit too technical, there are two ways you can actually grow your following on social media: organically or paid. The best thing to do is to have a 50-50 break between the two. Too much organic. Organic is great because it means that someone seeked you out and they followed you. So organic is great, but it's also one of the slowest ways to grow your following. It's great for community building, but again, it takes time. You're not gonna instantly make one post today and end up with 100 followers tomorrow. Organic traffic it's simply almost like growing a seed. You don't just plant a seed and then you see, a tree in your backyard the next day. And then there's paid. There's paid where you're going to pay for ads. You're going to do advertisements. You're going to work with influencers. And paid is really good because it's a bit faster. You're putting your brand in front of a wider audience. However, having too much paid is not good because then you're relying on the fact that you have to put money into this this form of advertisement or growth in order for you to see growth. So that's why I would say you have to have a good balance of organic growth where you're posting content, you're engaging with the people who love your products, you are actually taking time to answer direct messages that come to you, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, and paid where you're doing advertisements, you're doing ads online and driving people to your social media platforms.
And I want to make, you described it, but make really clear that it sounds like you're not saying pay for followers, because there are people, there are ways you can do that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is those just kind of paid bot followers actually just screw up your algorithm, but you're talking about paying for true people that would follow you because they're interested in your advertisement, or they're interested in your boosted post. You've worked with an influencer that has true organic following. So you're not paying for the followers, but you're paying for the resource that gets them there. And that can just kind of help you grow a little bit faster.
Exactly. And to add to that point, I would also say when you're focusing on growing your followers, two things. One, it's not about how many followers you have. That doesn't determine how many sales you make. And two, followers don't always equal customers, right? Because once it's almost like followers can equal, if you have a store, just because a lot of people walk into your store doesn't mean that they'll buy stuff from you. They just might want to browse and leave. So it's almost the same thing as having followers. You just want to bring more people into your store, more people into your brand to browse. When you pay for followers and you boost your numbers, it's doing more harm than good because you're not going to get any sales.
Yeah, so, it's almost like with your store analogy, you have people walking in that definitely would never buy anything in your store. So why do you want them breathing your air anyway?
Exactly.
That space. And so once you have these followers and people that are good followers, that you are warm leads, what's a good way to nurture those relationships and keep them moving through that pathway to eventually be paid customers?
So depending on what you're selling, I find that this is always a really solid way for you to convert followers or leads, as you'd say, into customers, where one, you have to either send them to your website. So use a CTA, which is a call to action, CTA, send them to your website to make a purchase. Or you can also ask them to sign up for deals or discounts and capture their email address. We know that email marketing is one of the most understated but yet powerful marketing tools that can help you to retarget new customers and keep old customers as well. So you definitely want to push people and tell them where to go. Not to sound a little bit too bad.
Tell them what to do, right?
Yeah, tell them what to do. You don't want to be like, buy my thing. It's like, hey, you like this? I have it at my store. This is where it is. Go to the store. Be direct. Don't be ambiguous. People are just going to like your post and follow you. If you don't tell them, hey, buy now, they're really not going to buy now.
Yeah. You've got to direct them what you want from them. When people come to you to help them with their digital marketing and social media, what's their biggest pain point? What are they really, is it a time issue? Is it a creativity issue? What do they need help with? All of the above?
Usually all of the above, but the two most pain points they have is one, they always expect that if they just post, then thousands of people are going to come to them and they're going to go viral overnight. Social media marketing or social media is just like business. You don't become an internet sensation or a Fortune 500 company overnight. It's something that you have to build on and nurture in order for it to give back. And two, when it comes to creativity, a lot of the times brands don't pay a lot of attention to their content strategy, which is an important part of your social media strategy. The type of content is also a full representation of your brand, what your brand has to offer. It goes beyond product images, but it's how you portray it, because people don't like the idea of being sold to, but they do like the idea of being tricked into being sold to. So you have to be really crafty about that.
Give us an example of that. So what would be a way to kind of, because it seems like it's a little bit of an art, but it's an art that every one of us can recognize. That's gross. I want to buy that.
Exactly. So in perfect example would be as simple as your captions. Instead of saying, hey, we have this new skincare product, buy it now. It's great. It's awesome. Instead, your caption could say, here's this new skincare product. If you're struggling with skin or you're struggling with breakouts and you need help, this could be the product for you. Give it a try and see what other people have to say about our product. It's great. So it's almost like you're telling a little story about, we can solve your problem, right? We can solve your problem, and here's a product to solve your problem, rather than we're great, we're amazing, just buy us because we're great. That's what customers really buy into, problem solvers and content that's actually going to speak about how you can help them rather than why you're so amazing.
And the story thing that goes,
Yeah.
it seems like that goes into every single little nuance of our business and our relationship with our clients, is telling a story. And so how would we do that? You talked about that whole strategy, the whole digital and social media strategy. So would that be thinking up a new idea for a new post every day, or how do we turn that into a broad story that's really a strategic message that goes out?
Well, storytelling should definitely be a part of that, and that, as you said, is also an art. It takes time to perfect, but when you're creating a cohesive strategy, the best thing to do is that you have to create pieces of content that is engaging, that ties together. So again, the best point would be problem solving. And you can talk about how your product solves a problem in so many different ways, right? So you can have a picture of a behind the scenes for your social media. You have a team of people who are dedicated to making a great product that's going to help you to solve this problem. Your next content could be, oh, we use these ingredients. Why do we use these ingredients? Because these ingredients have been proven to help to solve your problem. So it's all about taking something, a value proposition that you're offering that customer, and finding different interesting angles to show how you can be a part of that customer's lifestyle.
And so that way we're not being redundant. We're not just saying the same thing over and over again. We're not saying buy, 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 buy. But we're telling that story of how this thing really is going to improve our ideal customer's life.
Exactly.
And you hear the psychological statistics that somebody has to see something 5 times or 8 times or 10 times before they buy it. And I think if we watch our own purchasing behaviors, we'll notice that we see something, we're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but it has those ingredients.
Yeah.
Oh, but they use, you know, green packaging, and that's important to me. So kind of hitting each of those things, and that way we can have that strategy that you're talking about.
Exactly. And the only way that you can actually get that, which you hit the nail on the head and you didn't even realize, that goes into being consistent on social media. Consistently posting, consistently pushing, so that you're in the eyes of your ideal customers every single chance that you get. So that if it takes 5 times, you have to keep pushing your content till you get that sale.
And consistency, would that be 5 times in 1 week? Would it be once a week? What's the magic number for how often to post? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but
That is a very loaded question. It's one of the most popular questions that people get when it comes to social media. The trick is to be consistent. I know that sounds very generic and broad, but if you're going to post 5 times for the week, going forward, whether you realize it or not, people on social media are spoiled, so they expect you to post 5 times for the week. If you're going to post 3 times for the week, they expect you to post 3 times for the week. So it's all based on that. I would say don't post less than 2 times for the week, because people see a lot of content going through their feed every single day, every single hour, every single second. Instagram is one of them. You're consistently bombarded with content. So if you're just going to post once a month, it's like you're a little bit non-existent. So 3 times for the week and up is the perfect, quote unquote, magic range that I would give for most business owners.
okay. And then for the business owners, a major thing that I work with people on is to, especially owner operators of their business, is to discover what's their zone of genius and what is actually the best use of their time. I know when we're growing our businesses, we DIY everything. I've been there. I'm probably still there in a lot of realms still. But the way a business grows, in my opinion, is for that owner operator to discover what is the most profitable use of their time and what do they need to bring in professionals, outsource, or hire VAs to do. So if they're looking at their whole business strategy and they realize social media is important, they watch this and they now know how and why it's important, but they also realize that they are the most expensive social media manager they could possibly have on their staff, and they want to work with a professional like you, how do they do that?
Okay, so I think I would answer it in 2 parts. Normally, when I give my marketing consultation, I end up finding 2 categories of customers. One, where they specifically just need a tool to help them to manage their social media or manage the content that they're creating. And 2, clients that actually need a social media and content manager to help to take on the workload. And it's all about which stage of your business you're in. If you're definitely in the startup stage, that's when you start DIYing a couple of tools and putting things into place. So you'd use social media tools like Hootsuite or Buffer. They're both very well. Or a little bit
Those
of
help
graphic.
automate it, right? You
Right,
create your own
automate.
content and then those help push it out on a more automated way.
Exactly. So you can schedule your post ahead of time. So you can just sit down for a couple hours for one day, schedule your content for the month, let Hootsuite or Buffer automatically post it on your social media profiles, and then go on with the rest of your day without having to check your phone every minute, because you have a business to run. You can't be stuck on social media and checking Instagram posts.
Mm-hmm.
So those tools, Hootsuite and Buffer, are actually really great. I would also say, if you're someone that you're growing and you realize that it's time for you to invest more in your social media so that you can get more customers, then you're at the stage where you need a professional to help you. And it could be at a stage where you need them to help you on a project by project basis. So let's say you're doing a product launch, you may need a social media expert to help you to get the fullest experience of your product launch. And let's say that you need someone full-time to manage it because you're growing, you want to get more customers, you need someone else to manage social media. You can't be, again, checking your phone every minute, answering messages. You have a business to run. So it's seeing what stage of your business you are in and finding the right tools or finding the right person to make sure that you utilize your time Sometimes we think we can DIY everything, but that time that you take to DIY it takes up time that you could use to get more money for your business.
Yeah.
So paying that social media expert gives you the time to come up with more ideas and more resources to make more money.
And I love that like, you said that, because that is a major thing that I end up walking people through, is they feel like, oh, I can't afford to hire this expert, or I can't afford to hire this person to help me. And my answer is usually, you can't afford not to, because this isn't your zone of genius. And so maybe it took 2 hours of your day, but it took 2 hours that was not within your realm of expertise, and it probably drained more energy from you than something else would have. So you actually spent an hour thinking about what you were going to do on social media, and then 2 hours doing the thing, and then 4 hours spent because, oh my gosh, I never do social media, and that took a lot of energy from me. And so it actually is much more expensive sometimes.
Exactly. And an expert could have finished what you needed to do in probably less than an hour.
Yeah.
And then gotten more stuff for you done within those four hours that you were trying to MacGyver your way through social media.
Yeah, and I know we all do that, but I think it's important to have those resources, have people hear from people like you, so they can say, okay, she's right, I need help on this. I appreciate your time so much. I'm going to put your website and your Instagram link when I post this video, so that everybody knows exactly where to find you and where to reach out.